Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive, landmark legal crackdown on a Pakistan-backed narco-terror network operating right in Jammu and Kashmir. A special court has officially framed charges against 10 accused individuals, and it's exposing this incredibly complex web of drugs, money, and terrorism, all brought to light by the State Investigation Agency, or the SIA.
Now, at the very heart of this SIA probe is a concept called narco-terrorism. You see, this isn't just about smuggling illegal drugs, and it's definitely not about isolated acts of violence. It's basically a closed-loop system. Massive, illicit profits from drug sales are funneled directly into funding terrorist activities. It gives these terror outfits a completely self-sustaining financial backbone.
To break this all down, we'll be moving through 5 quick sections today: exposing the network, the lock conspiracy, profiling the 16 accused, the legal clampdown, and finally, what happens next.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, exposing the network, tracking this from the initial FIR all the way to the formal charges. So, the wheels of justice actually started turning back in October of 2022. Based on some pretty solid intelligence about a highly organized syndicate, the SIA registered FIR 19/2022. And from there, it took immense groundwork. We're talking about compiling and filing 6 detailed charge sheets over several years. That all culminated in July 2026, which is when the special court reviewed the mountain of evidence and officially framed the charges.
Moving on to Section 2, the lock conspiracy, and exactly how this network operated on the ground.
What the SIA uncovered here was a highly organized 3-step pipeline. Step 1, narcotics were systematically smuggled right across the line of control from Pakistan and POJK. Step 2, those drugs were then sold within the J&K Valley. And Step 3, this is the really critical narco-terror link, the profits didn't just go into someone's pocket. They were deliberately channeled to the banned terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba to essentially keep their entire ecosystem running. And just to be clear, these findings aren't based on hearsay or rumors. Investigators systematically gathered hard electronic evidence. They traced incredibly complex financial transactions and used technical proofs to expose the inner workings of this linked network. They basically followed the digital footprint directly to the source. All right, Section 3, profiling the 16 accused. Let's look at this web of conspirators. So in total, the CIA identified 16 conspirators pulling the strings in this overarching plot. Here is how that breaks down. 10 of them have been successfully arrested so far. 4 are cross-border handlers who are operating from Pakistan and POJK, 1 local accused is currently absconding, and 1 other individual was actually killed in a prior encounter. Those 10 arrested individuals, they are now officially facing trial. It's quite a list. The agency managed to apprehend Rubina Nazir Malik, Ishfaq Ahmed Mir, Mudassir Ahmed Paswal, Safir Ahmed Mughal, Mohammed Rashid Thoker, Mohammed Riaz Lohar, Javeed Iqbal Thoker, Abdul Rashid Mir, Abdul Rashid Bhat, and Basharth Ali Paswal. And what's wild is that this sweep actually included 3 proclaimed offenders who had been evading the law for a long time. But, the hunt is definitely still on for the rest of the group. We've got 1 local absconder, Sajir Ahmad Paswal, who is from the Amrohi area of Kupwara district. Then on top of that, you have 4 key handlers orchestrating things from across the border. They've been identified as Tariq, Alafuddin, Mushtaq, and Firdas. The court has officially declared them fugitive offenders, and believe me, the legal process against them is actively being pursued.
And just to complete the whole picture of these 16 individuals, 1 key accused has actually already been neutralized. Mushtaq Ahmad Malik from Sopore was killed in a previous encounter with security forces. Even so, his specific role in all this has been thoroughly documented in the charge sheet just to make sure the full scope of the conspiracy is completely established.
Which brings us to Section 4, the legal clampdown, specifically looking at the UAPA, the NDPS, and the IPC. Because of the hybrid nature of this crime, mixing drugs and terror, the special court mapped out the charges across 3 major legal frameworks. First, you have the NDPS Act of 1985. That one squarely targets the heavy narcotics smuggling and trafficking. Then they brought in the UAPA of 1967 for the terror funding side of things, as well as the incredibly severe charge of waging war against the government. Finally, the Indian Penal Code, or IPC, is being used to cover the operational mechanics, things like criminal conspiracy, forgery, and the destruction of evidence.
Now for our final section, number 5, what happens next? Let's talk about the trial and the broader consequences. So, what is the immediate next step here? Well, it's the commencement of the formal trial itself.
The SIA has been very clear that the evidence they've gathered is robust enough to warrant framing these super severe charges. In this next phase, the prosecution is going to present all of its physical and electronic evidence in court, and crucially, they'll begin the formal recording of witness testimonies to build an airtight case against the 10 people they've arrested.
But here's the thing. Authorities aren't just stopping at the courtroom doors. The CIA is actively going after the financial roots of this entire network. Under the provisions of the UAPA, they're currently in the process of identifying, attaching, and outright seizing any properties linked to this terror funding operation. The goal is to make absolutely sure that the physical infrastructure that enabled this crime is completely dismantled.
The SIA has basically drawn a line in the sand. Anyone aiding this terror ecosystem financially will be brought to justice. As this massive, multi-pronged trial kicks off, targeting both the individuals themselves and their physical assets, we have to ask ourselves a pretty big question. With charges framed and properties facing immediate seizure, is this the definitive blow that will finally shatter the financial backbone of cross-border terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir?